Hello and welcome to the Smith and Sniff podcast, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and sometimes trousers. I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Jonny Smith.
Hello Jonny, how are you?
Really good, thanks Richard. There's a little bit of mould in my office. It seems to maybe occurred since Christmas, so it's not quite as pleasant as I was hoping. In personal car news, there's a really... Have you ever had a mysterious bad smell in a car which you just can't fathom? And I'm in midst of the investigation right now.
I've got one too. Go on. What's yours?
Well, the problem is the best way to describe it, if it was like on a paint can, like a Faro and Ball paint can, it would be taxi driver seat. And I think what I mean by that is somebody sits in that chair as a taxi driver for 15 hours a day and just does relentless sort of eating and guffing into fabric.
Soft guffs.
And it doesn't seem to... Yes, soft, but they stay in the fabric. They don't really... And I don't know if you can vacuum them out.
But it's also... it's not just guffs, is it? And it's not quite sweat.
It's foodstuffs.
Yeah, a bit of food stuff. It's just general sort of body funk.
Oh, do you know what it is? It's dehydrated breath breathing at point-blank range into fabric.
Yeah, jeans that haven't been washed for 2 weeks and are on
2 weeks.
That where you go, ooh, probably need a wash, but then again, probably eke another day out of these. That kind of smell.
And it's, you're absolutely right. Old unwashed denim, especially at the back end, is nasty.
Oh, what an album that was as well. Unwashed Denim, great album. By the Rolling Stones.
By at the back end. Or it would be, I've always thought a great name for a session would be Both Ends Going. Because when people describe, they were like, oh, were you ill lately? You're like,
God,
had both ends going. And I always think, what? That's great.
The beauty of that is that it manages to be euphemistic and yet at the same time completely revolting all the same. So, yeah.
In fact...
Unwashed denim by both ends going. Guys, the 70s, they wouldn't have blinked before releasing that on that
would have been perfect.
Brown
that would have been a glam rock record. Yeah. Also, actually, Both Ends Going could be a really good sort of Audi Quattro strapline, isn't it?
That's just the tagline on the adverts. Get both ends going with the Audi Quattro.
Quattro, 40 years of both ends going. I think that sounds really good. And it might translate into other languages really nicely.
Into German. Well, no, just do it in German and then it sounds technical, like Vorsprung der Technik, and not a little bit like what happens if you ate some out-of-date chicken.
Well, hang on. Let me just quickly Google Translate, because I don't know enough German. I know English to German. I'm going to write...
No, I only did German for a year, so...
Okay, I've got it.
Go on.
Audi Quattro. Beide Enden gehen.
Beide Enden gehen?
Yeah, beide Enden gehen. Going is definitely gehen.
Yeah, it
beide
is.
And ends is enden.
Ender.
Beide Enden. It would have to be a deeper, slower read for more effect.
They like a sort of... I think... My experience of watching German television in hotel rooms, bizarrely.
Oh, don't say that. That sounds
German
really...
adverts, as in I think Spanish and Italian adverts, if they have a male voiceover, they quite like a very deep voiceover like this. So Audi Quattro, der nur Audi Quattro, bei Enden gehen.
Oh,
and
yeah, because
go,
it's abrupt.
That
it's
sounds
quite
very
clipped.
technical. Yeah,
it's clipped and it's almost military with precision, and that's what the Quattro always was trying to say. Really?
It's very mechanical, very, very engineered, yeah. But when people go, so what does Vorsprung der Technik mean? You go, well, it's forward through technology. Oh, right, and what about the Bayer Enden Gehen thing? I mean, both ends going. When you shit yourself and have to puke in the bath at the same time. Yeah, that's right. That's what they're trying to say.
And they always, like the Super Bowl is always the highest, the pinnacle of commercial space.
Yes.
Audi go, no. The pinnacle for beide Enden gang is probably New Year's Day, I would say, where most people have gone out and done horrific things unnecessarily, far too many units in the body.
I'm not sure, though, because in a way, sort of psychosomatically, you might be sort of slumped on the sofa. You'd be like, oh, I feel a bit bilious.
Yeah, and like New Year's Day, you've got to maybe go and see some family or entertain, but at the same time, you know that you're bubbling. The cauldron is definitely bubbling. It's got a lumpy idol. The bag, the internal bag, has got a lumpy idol, and you're like, oh, and you might have to do a beide Ende again. And
this is handy though, because if I am in Germany ever in the future, and someone I know who's German, whoever that might be, goes, "Ah, wie geht's?" I go, "Beide Ende
Nicht gut."
I do know somebody speaks German.
Who?
My friend Nilu. So I could ask her if it literally translates.
Ask her if both ends going is slang for what we, like you say, the vom and the plop at the same time situation.
We seem to have drifted off a little from the other edifying topic, which was the smell in your car. Which car is this, by the way?
E-Golf.
Uh-huh.
And it's not mine. It's going back really soon. So it's embarrassing anyway, because people sit in the car, and I don't want them to think that smell is me. I do brush my teeth. My diet's fairly varied, and I do clean my own clothes. But I think what it is one of the kids had a friend over.
Oh, has one of your kids got a smelly friend?
Well, I think I think my wife borrowed the car, and on the way back from school, as a treat, they went to McDonald's, and one of them got a McFlurry, and I think the top of the McFlurry fell off and went between the seat.
Oh.
So it's a little bit of ice cream and a little bit of some sort of sweet or chocolate.
Oh, well, that's milky smell.
Yeah, and it's super old. It's super old milk, but it doesn't smell like trad kind of filthy yogurt. It because there's not much of it. It's been there a while, and it's only just reared its head.
Because I mean, if you've got
full
milk,
just got that off my chest now.
But full milk smell in a car, obviously, is just that's scrapyard immediately, isn't it?
Yeah, my mate's mum had a lovely Sierra estate, and she had to do an emergency stop with the 2-litre thingy of milk on the passenger seat, and it burst into the passenger footwell carpet.
Scrapyard.
And I don't know. They had to get it industrially cleaned twice, and they kept the car for another 5 years. But on a hot summer's day, everywhere with the sunroof and the windows open, everywhere.
I mean, because it's not enough to simply replace the carpets. You would have to have the floor pan removed with an angle grinder and a new one welded in. And even then, do you know what the bad thing about something like that is? That even when the smell has gone, and you could use the most sophisticated smelling robot computers, if such a thing exists, in the world to check the smell had gone, and it would say, yes, the smell has gone. Psychologically,
it's not gone.
You're still going... Because that's what happened to me years ago. I had a Mitsubishi Evo 10 long-termer from Evo magazine, which, I'll be honest, I hated that car. It was crap. But...
Did you go for the manual or the...
yeah, manual.
Because it had a weird paddle box
360.
System. Oh, okay, yeah.
No, this was a manual.
Okay.
But it was just toss. I liked the other Evos. I liked Evos 1 to 9. And then Evo X was... I just didn't get on with it at all. I just thought it was an idiotic car. Anyway, we digress. But the thing is, I didn't ever bond with it. I didn't really like it. And about halfway through, I think I had it for 6 months, about halfway through my time with it, I accidentally stepped some dog poo into it.
Oh, you didn't?
and I cleaned the floor mat. But from then on, I was just convinced that every time I got in, I was convinced there was just a little whiff of dog poo. And in a way, it was just... I just thought, well, that's typical, isn't it? This car that I think is a bit dog poo now actually smells a bit of dog poo for the rest of the time I've got it. And this leads me to my car smell problem at the moment, which is my Land Rover Defender.
Does it reek?
It's just got this little smell, which I would describe as, again in the same spectrum, pooey training shoe left in humid bathroom.
Oh, What? So you've like left the shower on hot, so it's steaming in there, and then you've
for a long time.
for a long time, like like in films where someone passes out in the shower, and they've obviously got a combi boiler, and that's the first thing I always think of. Is like that wouldn't in my house, in my house that wouldn't happen because my hot water
Have
tank.
you not got a combi boiler?
No,
Oh.
our boiler's just cack. I'm constantly nursing
Everyone
it.
had a combi boiler now. Okay.
No,
That wouldn't be your house then.
we've got an old school tank in the roof. It's all going to be put in the bin in the next 3 months, but that's another matter.
Oh yeah, because you're demolishing.
I'm
your own
demolishing
house,
my
aren't you?
house, ridding my life of oil-fueled, horrific, crap old boiler.
Well, if you have a combi boiler and you left it, you had a very, very long shower, and also you've forgotten to put the extractor fan on.
Oh yeah,
And the bathroom is very humid.
yes.
But unfortunately, you've forgotten that you had stepped in some dog poo earlier, and you'd brought the single trainer that had got a bit of poo on it into the bathroom with the intention of cleaning it, and then you'd forgotten because you decided to have a long, long shower.
Yes.
With fragrance-free shampoo and body wash. So there's nothing that's diluting that faint but distinctively
I
humid
know. Yeah.
pooey smell. And in fact, the smell of my Land Rover is you're not in the room anymore.
Yeah.
You've walked past the open bathroom door and got a whiff of it and gone, oh God, I've forgotten about that. And I cannot explain where it's coming from. And also, it's only started since I had it serviced.
Oh, really? So you think
Yeah.
a foreigner's done it? You think another person's done it? An alien,
Well,
not you?
They did quite a nice job of cleaning it at the garage where I had it serviced. And but I'm just wondering what, I mean, obviously they didn't sort of, polish the dashboard with a dog poo.
Well, maybe they've
wrapped
used
in hot flannel. Or maybe they did, I don't know.
maybe they've used the opposite of some stuff my dad once bought. My dad once bought a job lot of industrial cleaner, which was apparently used in pubs and clubs where it masks the smell of vomit, and because it has a really high, very sweet scent of bubble gum.
Yes, I'm familiar with that. American airports always
yeah.
smell like that.
Yeah, well, I think it was American. So we had loads of it, and it used to last forever. And I reckon someone's developed the polar opposite of that and cleaned your car with it.
Quite possibly. Oh, speaking of cars being in the garage, my Jag iPace has gone away on a lorry because
What?
it's no problem. It's just gone to have its software updated. Did I tell you about this? They've released a software update for the iPace, which gives it greater range and makes it particularly better in eco mode. And they say that this has all come from things they've learned from that Jaguar I-Pace one make race series that supports the Formula E races, which apparently is the E-Trophy is you've seen it, haven't you? Isn't it the slowest motorsport in the world? Oh yeah, of course you have.
I've driven one, and it's heavy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very heavy. But I like the idea of sort of wing mirror and paint swapping, even if it is at lower speeds than you might want.
But aren't they all
did,
mostly sort of pay drivers and people who just do it as a favour over a weekend and stuff?
I think a lot of them are. I think so. But what I like about it is that it has a direct relationship, a very quick relationship with the road car stuff.
Well, yeah, as it turns out, it does.
As it turns out, yeah.
And then someone I know who used to work at Jaguar sent me a note and went, have you heard about this new update? They're saying it's motorsport derived. Pfft, what a load of rubbish. And I thought, oh, that's disappointing. I believed it when they said that. And then he sent me another note and he went, oh, I've just checked with some of my old colleagues. Yeah, apparently it's true. And they pushed the batteries further in the racing series. You know, like all those big lithium-ion batteries in electric cars have a little bit of buffer, don't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the Jaguar is supposed to be 90 kilowatts. You never get access to all that. It's sort of 83, say, something like that you'll ever be able to use. They've just allowed you to use a bit more of it because they found that it doesn't seem to affect durability or what have you from the intensity of the race series. So that is a genuine benefit. You're getting just a little bit of the extra battery is available to use. The software will allow you to use it. And then the eco mode apparently uses, because it's got a motor on each axle. It uses in eco mode it uses the front one far less. So it's much more rear-wheel
Oh,
driving.
that's cool.
They've just decided
Well, I
it
know-
doesn't need to use both motors as much, and so that just makes it less energy hungry, and so you go further in eco mode. And I don't know if that's from the race series, but it's clever. So my car's gone away, and when it comes back, it'll be a little bit better. Yeah. I think that's quite cool. And they're also, sorry, just one other thing is they're going to enable the over-the-air updates, which previously weren't switched on. So in future, updates like this should come magically from a cloud.
I've heard that. I heard that, and that's really good because I think that's where it's all going to go. I mean, I know Tesla have been doing it for a good few years now, and the Volkswagen Group are going to do it with their ID stuff.
So I was going to take my Jag to the local Jag dealer to get this software because I thought this sounds worth doing. But the nice PR people at Jaguar went, "Oh, we'll do it." I think the subtext being, "Oh Christ, don't go to a dealer again," because I would have taken it to the place that cleaned my Land Rover interior with a rag of poo. So maybe for the best. They said, "Oh, we'll take it back into our workshop up here in the Midlands," and I went, "Oh, okay, well, how long do you want it for?" "Oh, we'll probably need it a week." The thing only takes a day, so I was a bit like, kind of, it's our family car. They went, "Oh, don't worry, we'll lend you something else." So they've sent me a Range Rover Sport.
Of course, they've sent you a Sports.
Sport.
I still don't know how to spell it. How would you accurate? Well, like a transit sport van. If you said I've got a transit sport van in Essex, how do you spell it?
Okay, proper Essex. It's transit. So TWAAANST. I think transit. Transit. I don't know. Yeah, about that. And then what? Sport van. So sport. So
SPOWGHT.
Oh, I hadn't thought about GHT.
Is it sports?
Spowagatha.
Is it like?
I mean, it's got about 4 or 5 syllables. Yeah, but thought.
Is it thought with a W?
Possibly, yes. And then van would be VAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA van.
When you say that, you've got to stick your neck forward and your shoulders back simultaneously. Ready? Go.
Transit van. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, it's actually N-AH. Van.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. We've dropped the ball. Because
The ball?
It's Ford. You never say Ford. It's Fords. So it's.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's just a single van, it's Fords.
Yeah, Folds.
So is that apostrophe S or is it S apostrophe? Folds is sport vein.
Well, I think, but it's just Folds is just the name for Ford in East London and Essex, isn't it? Where Fords are from. So it's a proper noun. I don't think there's an apostrophe. I mean, you could put a grocer's apostrophe in it, but obviously, so that's FOWA. I mean, it feels like it's ARD.
ARD. It's
Forwards.
It's Ward.
Forwards.
It's four. It's
Forwards.
Ward with a W with an F. And
It's getting complicated.
if you
now.
drive, but wouldn't it be great if we drove past Dagenham factory like next week and the big sign is just different?
It
Just says FWARD apostrophe S apostrophe.
It's exactly the same logo, but if you look closely, it says forwards. That's also, you know, that thing, if you ever, as we do in the line of our work, ring forwards head office, which they've moved now, haven't they? That big old building in Whalley in Essex.
Yeah.
And they've moved all that now. I think they moved to where have they? They've gone up the road to their R&D place at Danton.
That's right.
It's actually that's just spelled DNTN. There's no vowels in that one, ironically. If you're from Danton. Yeah, they've moved. But anyway, when you ring them, there was a thing. They go, "Hello, Forward Motor Company."
I'd like Bill Ford.
Bill. That's BIWLL. Bill Forwards. No, actually, my name is Bill Ford.
Yes, he has to come from America, and he has to be taught how to do the press launch properly in UK Ford English. So you have received pronunciation for obviously royal-esque, polite English pronunciation.
Yeah.
Well, Ford has its own. It's just invented its own because it's a powerful brand, Ford. And it's got a fantastic market, always very well marketed Fords, as I said before. And they've decided to just make Bill Ford talk like forward. And he has to spend a month in Dagenham. And there's certain parts of his job description he just can't fathom. He's like, so let me get this right. Even if it's really cold, I'm only going out with a polo shirt. Why? What? and if I'm driving an RS, why is the window always down? And I don't even vape. I've never smoked or vaped. So why am I now vaping?
You do now, son.
It's part of the RS package.
I didn't understand the heart of the Ford Motor Corporation until I spent some time in Dagenham, England.
Dagenham.
The thing is, I don't think an American would struggle so much with talking in the accepted forwards kind of way because it's not that far from an exaggerated Dick Van Dyke Cockney accent, which, as we know, is what a lot of Americans do when required to put on an English accent. So I think
my gosh, yeah.
He might be all right. He might pick it up quite quickly. And before you know it, he's absolutely leathering an old RS 1600s through Dagenham town centre with a massive cloud of vape smoke coming out of the driver's window and the optional tilt slide glass sunroof.
Oh, of course. I've heard it on good authority, actually, that the next Mary Poppins film's definitely going to have an RS Focus or ST Fiesta. And Dick Van Dyke's just suddenly turned into some Reebok classic wearing Lacoste shirt. pink Lacoste shirt. He's vaping, but he's hiding it from the kids. So the kids don't. For all the kids know, Dick Van Dyke's always on fire because there's just steam on something coming out. He sort of blows it into his own neck of his shirt like that. All right,
why
kids.
is the window cleaner always followed around by a cloud? Why does the cloud smell of cinnamon?
Of butterscotch and strawberries. Oh, don't worry about that. And of course, Mary Poppins is like, the children aren't coming in your Focus RS, Dick,
it stinks. Because it smells weirdly dry and fruit because of all your vaping.
He's got 18 magic trees hanging off the rear view mirror. You can barely see.
Well, that's a hangover from when he used to smoke rollies, though, isn't it? He's an instinctive magic tree buyer because of the smell of tabs in his fast forwards.
Yeah. And of course, this new Mary Poppins film, apparently there's going to be a really catchy song all about Stage 3 mapped, but I don't know how that's going to go. But it's going to be a really, really catchy song about Stage 3 mapping.
But as we speak, the finest songwriters in Hollywood are desperately trying to find something that rhymes with Recaros, which is harder than it sounds. Recaros and also... aftermarket back box is quite a hard one to rhyme.
Oh, what Jan Speed, like a Jan Speed system.
Jan Speed. Yeah. Every time they come to Dick Van Dyke, he's thumbing through a Jan Speed catalogue. Except there wasn't Dick Van Dyke in the last one, was it? It was that guy who did Hamilton. He's going to be the one. He'll be the one he's got a lot of tats.
Well,
heavy vaping. And he can't move off from rest without using a minimum of 4,500 revs.
Oh, he's constant, and he's always just blaming it on the race clutch, which it doesn't have a race clutch. It's totally standard race clutch. It's standard drivetrain, but he just keeps telling everyone it's Stage 3, and he doesn't really know what Stage 3 is, and neither does everybody else. But Mary thinks, well, I'm just going to make a song about Stage 3 mapping.
I'll tell you what, I am looking forward to the director's cut of this new film when they put back in that, I thought, quite pivotal scene where the former Dick Van Dyke character tries to impress Mary Poppins by telling her that he's had a new air filter put in and it's worth an easy 50 horsepower. Is it really?
A spoonful of nitrous helps the
Helps the traffic light Grand Prix.
yeah, it's something like that. I'm sure there would be. I mean, Ford are going to love all this.
Animated creatures in baseball caps, and a lot of Reebok classics, and some just like basically the costume designer for the animations just pop down to Sports Direct, have a good nose round, draw it like that.
Oh yeah, well,
A lot of tracky bees.
Dick Van Dyke, Dick Van Dyke buys Mary Poppins a Mackenzie tracky set and says, "You look proper nice in this."
So, to sum up, in cinemas next summer, Mary Poppins and the Fast Ford Enthusiasts.
Absolutely, yes. And there'll be some very, very catchy songs, one of which will be Stage 3 mapped, but there'll be some other real sing-along favourites, which we, as soon as we get the news on those, we will absolutely deliver that pivotal news here on Smith and Sniff's podcast, you know?
Yeah. Maybe the plot revolves around his influence on the children, which causes, because they're teenagers now, and one of them decides to go and buy a suspiciously cheap Sierra Cosworth Sapphire because they're more affordable, and then it's stolen, and the rest of the film is them trying to get it back, which of course they never can because it's been broken for parts, but he ends up buying his own alloys back from a man in a pub.
This is great. This is
It's a different direction for the franchise, but I think it could work.
I think it could definitely work. But of course Poppins, she's more an EcoBoost kind of girl. She's more about the 1 litre 3-pot with the nice little turbo on it.
What's you talking about, Mary Poppins? You can't get that kind of power output out of an engine that size. Well, with a little bit of turbo magic, you can.
Oh, so hang on a minute. So the magic is that the 1 litre EcoBoost is triple the power of anything that Van Dyke does to his 5-pot RS, or is he going to go for a 4-cylinder RS? I don't know.
I think he's a 4-cylinder. He's quite old school. Yeah, but there's a bit where she takes her car with the EcoBoost 1 litre to a rolling road, and she's got a bit of a naughty chip put in it with a sprinkle of magic, and then suddenly the outputs soar, and he looks at the monitor to see what the outputs are, and then does that thing they do in those films where he rubs his eyes with both hands and goes and shakes his head in disbelief.
Oh yeah.
Knocking on for 250 brake, Mary Poppins, out of a 3-cylinder? It ain't possible. Well, I do fear for my drive shafts, I'll tell you that.
That's right. Yeah.
Good. Well, that's that sorted out. I was going to say, just briefly going back to what I was going to say, I've been lent a Range Rover Sport, and the only reason I bring this up is because I was driving around it this morning, and I was a bit like, I kind of feel like I feel sort of bad just driving locally in this really heavy diesel burning car in a way that I don't in my electric Jag, because it's not localised pollution in that. It's not doing any of that.
That's right.
But on the other side, I know why people buy those Range Rovers, because you do feel quite nice in it. It's got a lovely interior compared to the Jag.
It's a cocooning feel, especially when the weather is inclement.
Exactly. It's really tossy weather today, isn't it? And
yeah,
so and nothing makes you feel sort of safe and cocooned from the world like a lovely, well-appointed Range Rover Sport as it rains outside and it's very damp, and so I haven't driven one of those for ages, and I suddenly went, oh yeah, I realised I'd forgotten that these are really nice, and I can see why people buy them, even though there's a lot to be said against them because they're very heavy. They're a very heavy car. Oh, actually, that's something else I want to talk about. You've driven the Mercedes EQC, haven't you?
I have. Well, I I've been in the finished car briefly, and I drove the pre-prod or nearly finished Mule, which was kind of finished but had cloths over the dash, and I like it actually. I've covered it off of one of my freelance outlets on Fully Charged.
One of my many portfolio of outlets.
Yes, I know, portfolio of outlets, Richard. And I have to say, I think it's a far more resolved beast than the e-tron, the Audi e-tron.
I've just driven it recently, and when I got in it and I drove it a bit, I was like, oh god, this is the problem is it just feels really heavy compared to my Jag, and a bit sluggish, and I was just like, ugh, this is what a pudding of a car. And I've got so used to how crisp and mighty the acceleration is in the Jag that it's just felt really stodgy. And then after a week, by the time I'd had it for a week, I was really taken with it. It's a grower, is that car. But I was quite surprised how much I liked it. I think it feels like a car. It feels better made and more expensive than the Jag. It's very. What's weird is it's like, we talked about this when we did a video with the iPace. The iPace is almost like the most jaggy Jag in ages because it's quick and it's quiet, and there's just something sort of very civilized about it, but also it hides its light under a bushel because you can absolutely toast people without them seeing what's coming. And in many ways, it's just quite Jag-like. And the Merc, as it turns out, is quite Merc-like because it's sort of old school Merc, a bit stodgy at first, but you kind of get really wooed by its qualities, which are literally its quality. And also, it's just sort of very user-friendly, and you just think it'd be like, in the way that sort of an old W124, you'd kind of have it for years, and it would be a faithful, well-made servant, and it just wouldn't annoy you because it's just thoughtfully done. And
I was a bit shocked and upset recently to learn about how few iPaces Jag have sold, given that it's a ground-up EV, and given that they've made a point publicly. When the car first came out, of saying this, we haven't gone for pure efficiency. We've gone for, remember, this is a Jaguar, so it's sort of a sports EV. In other words, that's why it's got wider wheels, it's got wider track. It's it's a cornering thing as well as a comfortable, luxurious car. And so people are constantly saying it's not that efficient. And Jaguar, like, well, we had to choose between pure efficiency and sporty, all-round capability, and yet I think it's a shame that car hasn't won the hearts of as many people as it sort of deserves to. I almost wonder whether it's it's an Audi A2 situation where people won't realise how special it is and how amazingly accomplished it is until 5 years down the line. But
actually that's a good point, actually, because the A2, same sort of thing where bespoke from scratch, they made the extra effort to do something different, and it was only
and never really benefited.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just a bit ahead of its time. I don't know. It's a good point, because that's the thing.
I nearly bought an A2 over Christmas.
Did you?
I didn't though. But just because I've been looking for one in case I need a bit of a sort of winter slag car, sub £1,500 winter slag, and I've always fancied an A2. But I only want a brown one. They did a really weird brown metallic colour.
I remember that.
And I only want a petrol. And most of the brown ones that appear are TDI, and I'm not interested because that 3-cylinder diesel just sounds like a washing machine full of spanners. It's horrific.
Mind you, the 1.4 petrol, I remember borrowing one of those, and I switched it on, and my girlfriend at the time went, "Is this a diesel?" And I had to go, "No, it's not. It's a bit of a rough old thing that petrol." But I wonder whether also the alley shell resonates.
It resonates
a bit.
It does resonate. It's known to resonate, Richard, and that's exactly what it does. It resonates.
Do you think you will get an A2 then? Are you seriously going to get one?
No, well, I'm not allowed to buy any more cars, so that's why my voice has suddenly gone into voiceover on Radio 4 because
your wife's downstairs.
I've sworn to my wife's downstairs, and I've sworn to not buy any more vehicles because this is the year of the house, and also all finances must be pointed towards the house, and so. But it was under £1,000, and it's 1.6 FSI, and it's
FSI.
Yeah, and it's brown.
And it's under £1,000 because they've become a bit culty, haven't they? And it feels like they're sort of therefore their values of, if anything, for good ones, are creeping up a bit.
They are creeping up because they can't get any cheaper than this, because you can sort of weigh them in for £500 probably just for the aluminium, even if you didn't take any other parts off it. So, and also, as I went down this rabbit hole, which we do as people that love to peruse cars for sale for no apparent reason, There's a couple of guys who've put them on Audi A8 winter wheels, Winterfalcon as they're called.
What do they look
A
like?
really weird early A8, 18-inch wheel, I think, or are they 17s? They look, it's that weird German thing of they look like steel wheels, but they're actually very lightweight aluminium wheels for an Audi A8.
Right.
And they're quite rare now because not many people bothered to option them.
Yeah.
But they look shit hot on an A2. They look really good.
They're called Winterfalcon.
Winterfalcon. Just type in Audi A8 winter wheels or Audi A8 Winterfalcon. Yeah, Felden. Felden. Sorry, I've got to check actually.
Hang on.
Felden.
Winterfelden. Oh yeah, here we
Felden. Audi A8. Now they're old school A8.
Oh.
So
Are they? No, that's not them. Anyway, I'll pursue
they look like
this.
they're like the holes are like.
I see them. Oh, they're cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they look really good.
I see someone here's put them on a Golf Mark II, which might be slightly overkill, but yeah, those are cool wheels.
They're 16s, so
okay, that's all right.
They were smaller for winter use.
Yeah.
But needless to say, they probably cost about £1 million as an option on an A8, so nobody bought them. But I saw them on an A2, and I thought I now want a brown A2 petrol with Audi A8 Winterfelden, and I just want it now.
I'm looking at a picture of a red one here on those wheels, and it looks ace. That's good. Yeah, you should do that.
Looks right. And you think, hang on, for less than probably 1,500, 1,600 quid, I could probably get a half decent A2 on those rims and have a smile on my face. But
there must
the reality is I don't really need it yet. So, and
there must be like 7 brown ones in Britain. So for the sake of your marriage, that's probably quite a good thing that there aren't that many brown ones. I mean, is the brown a deal breaker?
Unless I find one that's got other interesting options that's of a colour that works.
I just looked.
Yeah, they did the colour ones. They did the colour wheel. What do they call them? The colour.
Well, this one I've got one on Auto Trader here. It's listed as a colour storm. It's bright blue. They had the blacked in arches, and I don't know. It's a bit Toy Town that.
Colour storm. They look a bit Lego.
Yeah, Lego.
They're
exactly.
a bit Lego.
Or
the yellow.
Playmobil.
I do like. Yeah, they do look. Of course, German spec Playmobil. I do like the yellow colour storm, but yellow colour storm with Audi A8 16-inch winter wheels. It could be sexual. Have you
seen? I was going to say, it's not up your street for a number of reasons. It's not brown for a start, but the one that's at the top of Auto Trader here is 850 quid. It's Cat N though, so I don't know. It's got a dent.
I think I think one of the school mums is called Cat N. One of my kids' friends' mum. So hang on, that's like about damaged vehicles.
I didn't like that when they changed the categorisation of insurance write-offs and so on, because I liked Cat D, because it just reminded me of Cat Dealey for some reason.
It always reminded me of Cat Dealey, and Cat Dealey's disappeared from Britain. She just does the States now, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's purely stateside.
Yeah. I know someone who once saw her shouting at a taxi driver. I think it was the same person who once saw Sue Pollard shouting at a tramp.
Sue Pollard shouting at a tramp?
Yeah, in Islington in London. She was shouting at a tramp. It's bizarre that someone would seem to attract or constantly be in the same area as celebrities shouting at other people. It's quite a skill.
I don't know if I've ever seen that, but all I'm going to do is I would like to sign off the Audi A2 chat by saying last weekend on Saturday I had to take my son to a football match with his team, and as we were walking into the playing fields, the pitch area, and some of the other parents' cars were lined up, of course being us, I was clocking the car choices, and there was an Audi A2 parked up, and it was just silver, like they all are, a bit boring. However, I noticed it had 3 headrests in the back. Actually, I had to walk back and double check for seatbelts, and sure enough, it was a 5-seat option.
The 5-seat option,
very rare. And I spent most of the game. My son won't be listening to this podcast, so it's okay because he's only 8. Thinking, I just want to go and look at that 5-seat option Audi A2 because that's more interesting than football to me.
Were you were you seriously tempted to sort of stalk through the crowd? Just go, excuse me, sorry to disturb you. Yeah, oh yeah, tremendous kick. Do you have an Audi A2 by any chance? And when you find the person, you go, sorry, do you know? I mean, just look. I'll just come out with it. Have you had that since new?
Yeah.
Did you spec that? And then they'd go, yes, I did actually. And then you just hug them a bit too tightly, and you'd be asked to leave the game.
Well, and then I'd have to wave a flag from the other side of the park for my son to come over to me. Come to me. I can't come to you. Come to me. I've been banned again. Yes.
Well, this is probably a good time to wrap things up. It's been a fruitful and interesting discussion as always. And
has it though?
No, not really. But anyway. Well, that's it from the Smith and Sniff podcast. Thank you for listening. This has been a little sort of prototype of something that we're thinking about doing. So if you've made it this far, well done, have a biscuit. And if you like it, then maybe we'll do some more. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe, all of those other things. Jonny's portfolio of freelance items. And, of course, Smith and Sniff videos on YouTube are available. There'll be one popping up very soon.
Rich is a Sniff Petrol, and I am Car Pervert on Twitter and Jonny Car Pervert on Instagram.
Hey, bon. All right.
And I just feel like you rattled through that, and I feel like
out of embarrassment,
thrown it away a little bit.
Bit of
was it?
embarrassment.
See, that's the bit we're supposed to go big on to try and increase our viewership / readership / listenership.
I think that ebbed away when we started talking about smells of dog poo in cars. But anyway, we'll try again.
Thank you, but honestly, thank you for listening. Please subscribe, and hopefully this will become a regular occurrence in your ears.
Bye.
Bye-bye.